Welcome to episode 3 of my book picks and reviews. This episode, we're going to be talking about the Tree of Life, or the Kabbalah. Now, there's all different kinds of ways to spell Kabbalah, and there is Kabbalah in Jewish mysticism, there's a Christian Kabbalah, and there's a witch's Kabbalah. So we're going to be focusing really on the Tree of Life and how it relates to the craft of the wise, or the kind of pagan seeker. So one of the very first books that came into my possession, which there are tons of bookmarks and writing in, is called Simplified Magic, A Beginner's Guide to the Kabbalah by Ted Andrews. You might be able to pick this up on Amazon. It is probably out of print by now because it's a very old Llewellyn book, and I don't think they print it anymore. It's like over 20, 25 years old now. But Simplified Magic is actually a book on the beginner's guide to the Kabbalah, and it again starts to help you to understand the language of the Kabbalah. There's also a wonderful book by Ellen Cannon Reed. She's one of my favorite esoteric, pagan, Wiccan authors. And The Witch's Kabbalah, The Pagan Path and the Tree of Life. So again, when we're coming to this new subject, we want to learn the language. So we're going to talk about the spheres and the pathways and their connections. And there's a lot of kind of astral travel or journey work, hands-on experiential work that goes along with understanding the language of the Kabbalah. So you could read all about the structure, and you could see how the tarot works on the tree, and you can see how astrology works on the tree, and you can understand how to start to take those journeys. However, you don't have to do it on your own. There's an amazing author, wonderful person, who's in her 90s now, named Dolores Ashcroft Nowicki, and she lives in the Channel Islands, Jersey. And shout out to her. We actually got to see her in person at a workshop several years ago. And she was there as a servant of the light to give a lecture about the servant of the light movement. And she was offering ritual and teachings. And midway through her first lecture, she kind of clocked this little group over here. And she thought, I think they're a coven. And she kind of switched gears midway and talked about her initiation into Gardnerian witchcraft, which kind of made big eyes for the real diehard servants of the light people who are a little more Christianized. But it was certainly a delightful talk for us. So thank you, Dolores. That was wonderful. But anyway, she wrote this book called The Shining Paths. She's written a ton of other books, but we're talking now about reviewing books to help you understand the Tree of Life, or the Kabbalah. And in this book, she has actually written guided meditations for each of the pathways and spheres. And in here, she has given subliminal triggers, subconscious triggers. And I was working with someone once, and we were working through this together, and I was reading to them, and we were doing the Malkuth reading, and they started talking to me. They had gone so deeply into the meditation, and they were describing Chevron the ferryman, who's coming in the meditation, but they had no idea about it. So it was really fascinating to see how these astral temples and these astral places really exist, and they've been visited over and over and over, and you can visit them too. So I recommend this book above any other for the experiential work. You could read them to your phone and then listen to them back and meditate that way, or you could work with a group. But Dolores, absolutely phenomenal work, very, very knowledgeable. Then if you want to dig a little deeper, Ted Andrews wrote kind of a second book from his own publishing company called Pathworking, a Kabbalah Guide to Empowerment and Initiation. And this book, I'll hold it up again so you can see it a little better. Pathworking, a Guide to Empowerment and Initiation. And this book has all the correspondences and help you to understand the language. And it also has exercises. Again, you could read them to your phone, record them that way, and then experience them. Because many, many of the things that I'm talking about are part of the mysteries. And you can't just learn from a book. This is something you have to learn by doing, practicing, experiencing. So astral journey work is a really good thing. And this is very simple and easy to understand, but it is also very in-depth. Then if you really want to start on the seeker's occult esoteric kind of journey, you can try to tackle Dion Fortune's mystical Kabbalah. But I really think you'll need a basis of language before you get into this book. I have a little paper in here that says abracadabra on it, and it's marked in chapter 2. So I must have discovered something. But anyway, this book is much more intense to get through. The mystical Kabbalah remains a classic, but it's pretty intense. Very good book. In fact, anything you can get your hands on by Dion Fortune is amazing. She wrote 4 novels, and they're kind of elemental novels, but they also are mystical experiences hidden in these novels. And I think they're called The Goat-Footed God, The Sea Priestess, Moon Magic. I can't remember the other one. I have all of them. And then a wonderful author and druid named Penny Billington wrote a book called Keys to the Temple, which take those 4 novels and put them into Kabbalah form. So that's awesome too. Anyway, but that's for the druid end of things. And then I just wanted to point out that Dion Fortune has this seminal work called Psychic Self-Defense. So for anybody who feels like they might be uncomfortable doing psychic work, or they might feel a little pressured or uncertain about astral travel, they might feel a little vulnerable, this book will help you very much to prepare yourself for those journeys, prepare yourself for the work, prepare yourself for other people you may meet on the path who are not on the up and up, who don't really have other people's best interests at heart. So Psychic Self-Defense is a really, really good tool, a really good book. And yeah, there are a lot of methods in here to kind of prepare you to take the next step, or to take the journey, or to discover the mysteries. So that's my take on basic books to have for the Tree of Life. And hang out and click on the next episode to see what's up next. Thank you very much. Peace and blessed be.